Jesus was talking about the Beatitudes, he was talking about a lifestyle to the more abundant life. When you understand the ideal behind the Beatitudes, how to interact with your fellow man, then you can truly be blessed. So what we're going to do is first we're going to talk about the Beatitudes as they are in the present day. And then we're going to talk about how they were actually meant to be in the Aramaic. First, I'm going to go through the Beatitudes from the book of Matthew. Jesus, seeing the crowd, went up upon a mountain, and he sat down, he opened his mouth, and he spoke. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be satisfied. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called sons and daughters of God. Blessed are those who are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. When we're looking at these 8 Beatitudes, what we're looking at is the translation from the Aramaic to the Greek to the Latin to the Old English and finally to the modern English. Why is that important to know? I talked somewhat about it last week, but we talked about the have-do beatitude or the be-do-have. Most of us operate from a have-do-be mindset. That mindset says this: if I have enough money, then I can do the things that I want to do and I'll be happy. But the mindset of the Creator is this: be, do, have. If I'm being prosperous in my mindset and I begin living out a life of prosperity, then I'll have those things that I desire in my life. And if I want to change my having, then I need only to begin to change my state of being and begin to do something according to my new state of being, and I'll have those things that I desire. The word in Aramaic for the Beatitudes, historically interpreted as a bestowing of a blessing. The words Jesus spoke speak of a cause and effect. He delivered simple and yet practical teachings in his native tongue, Aramaic. And today we're going to discover what it was that Jesus said in the Beatitudes according to the original Aramaic. As the teachings of Jesus passed from Aramaic to Greek to Latin to Old English and finally to the modern English translation, the following explanation of the Beatitudes is based on the Aramaic. Jesus gives us a how-to for living our greatness. And so when he continuously uses this word, blessed are, and basically what that means is to be divinely attuned. This is the word that he used for blessed. So when he said, blessed are you who have the essence of God or in that heavenly state, when we say that blessed are the poor in spirit, what Jesus really was saying was divinely attuned and consciously ripe in this present moment are those who have their true home in emptiness of spirit and the eternal, expansive force of God. For they shall realize the blissful power in the presence of life itself. He's saying those who are divinely attuned to the Spirit of God and who are open and empty before that Spirit, these people who will experience the expansive force from God, for they shall realize the blissfulness, empowering presence of life itself. we're blessed when we are, as it were, emptied of ourselves, or what we call poor in the spirit, when there's nothing left of us. And Jesus gives us a picture of that in the Garden of Gethsemane, when he said to his Father, "Not my will, but thy will be done." When we have that mindset, then we're operating out of the divinely attuned, consciously ripe, and the eternal expansive force of God, the empowering presence of life itself. That's so powerful. When we empty ourselves, then we find ourselves experiencing the very essence of life itself. The creator of the universe becomes one with us, and we discover power being poured in spirit to the divine nature of the universe. The next beatitude, divinely attuned and consciously ripe in this present moment, are those with absolute willingness to experience and process through their intense emotional turmoil and confusion and suffering. They shall be free from suffering as the root cause beneath their inner divisions and return to wholeness. So now, what did I just say? Blessed are those who mourn for their wrong, for they shall be comforted. Normally what we read in that text is, blessed are they who mourn, for they shall be comforted. But the truth of the matter is what he's saying is, blessed are those who acknowledge their shortcomings, their wrongdoing. As they acknowledge their wrongdoing, and they begin to confess their wrongdoing one to the other, then they will experience the blissfulness of the healing power of the divine presence within them. Jesus told the Pharisees, who believed that they did no wrong, he says, if you were blind, you should have no sin. But now that you say that you see, your sin remains. When we understand the truth of our shortcomings, of our error, what we discover is the light, the revelation of the divine spirit within us. And we find ourselves being freed. So when we come to him with a contrite heart and we acknowledge our wrong, blessed are those who acknowledge their wrong, they can at that moment be freed to turn 180 degrees and live a new life. Blessed are those who mourn for their shortcomings in the natural, or what we call sin. The third beatitude, divinely attuned and consciously ripe in this present moment, are those who allow their inner structure of comfort in relation to others and self to melt back into empty potential of nothingness. For they shall realize their oneness within with the infinite diversity of creation. This is the third beatitude, and this is, blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. When we, in a spirit of cooperation, begin to look for that best means for all parties involved in any relationship, when we have that win-win mindset, we discover our oneness not only with the individuals that we're interacting with, we understand our oneness with divine creator of the universe. And we understand that self is nothing, but self melts into the oneness with the allness that we know as God, and in that we discover true power. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. And what you find in that is that those who are meek and understand their oneness with the allness known as God, and with each individual, they begin to expand what it is that they're doing, because they begin to partner in relationship, and they begin to inherit the earth. And we've discovered this today. And in that connection, they have a spirit of cooperation, and thus they are successful. And in this spirit of cooperation, they've expanded their empire. Ancient text says this, where two or three come together in my name, there I'm in the midst of them. So what we discover about meekness, the quality is not one to be walked over, but one who understands his position and his connection with the all in all things and all people. And in that connection, they have a spirit of cooperation, and thus they are successful. The next beatitude we discover is divinely attuned and consciously ripe in this present moment are those who hunger and thirst, regard and act on the behalf of all concerned equally, fairly, as one unified life, for they shall realize a fulfilled, complete, and whole state of being. What we discover is, blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be filled. So what we discover is when we're looking to act righteously for all parties involved in any given situation, we discover that we are blessed and that all parties in this transaction are successful. We discover that it's about not only my prospering, but that everyone that I come in contact with prospers because of my being a part of their life and because of my righteous transaction and mindset towards them. My seeking their best brings about my best. Let's go to number 5. Divinely attuned and consciously ripe in this present moment are those who are birth their love for others, self, and life from their inner spiritual womb. For they shall experience the all-embracing love which flows forth from the center point of true being. Blessed are those who are merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Jesus said it this way, my commandment is this, that you love as I've loved you. When we talk about mercy, or the distributing of mercy, we're really talking about the dispensing of love one to the other. And as we dispense love in the lives of others, we experience love in return. If someone out there says, DeCarlo, I'm not experiencing the love that I think that I should, are you dispensing love to others? Because, see, the only way that you're going to get love in return is if you're acting as a conduit of love to others. You're God's conduit of love in the world. And if you're not manifesting that love in the world, then, of course, you're not going to receive it back. And you dispense it without expecting it back from the source that you're dispensing it to. Divine intelligence has a million different ways in which he can dispense love back to you. So don't worry about where it's coming from. Just know that it's coming. Let's go to number 6. Divinely attuned and consciously ripe in this present moment are those who embody absolute clarity and purified perception to recognize the single nature of life. For they shall realize their oneness with the infinite being known as God, God within them, the absolute only being. Blessed are those who are pure in heart, for they shall see God. Why shall they see God? They shall see God because they understand that everything that they do is for the purpose of glorifying God in their life. And as they become vessels of glorification of the presence of God in their life, as they by faith begin to act as ambassadors of God in the world, they will begin to experience the oneness known as God. Those who understand the single nature of life, that we're all connected, that I can't do anything to my brother without doing it to myself, that I can't do anything to my brother without doing it to God. So as we understand that we're one single unit, that we're individuated, but we're not separated, as we understand our singleness with all things, our unity with all things, and we begin to act accordingly, then we begin to experience the relationship, the deep relationship with God. And God calls that those who are pure in heart, when we understand that we are all connected. And from that connectiveness, I want to reach out and love my brother, my sister appropriately. I want to seek out their best interests. And if I'm doing something that does not bring about their best interests, then I want to stop doing that thing and begin to reevaluate so that I can do that which is benefiting all parties involved. Let me move to 7. Divinely attuned and consciously ripe in this present moment are those who birth peace from their center being, from their center place, from their core of their true being, for they shall be conscious, creative vessels of the Almighty, the absolute only being. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. As we understand in our core that peace is our byproduct of who we are, and we begin operating from that place of peace, then we, from a place of peace, are called children of God. And when we interact with others, we seek to be vessels of peace. Jesus said to the storm, "Peace, be still." I don't know what's troubling you, Creator, or what you're going through at this present moment, but I say to you that you are a vessel of peace. Peace, be still. And know that your good, your abundance, is coming to you, that it has already begun to manifest in your life, even though you may not see the manifestation, that your good is coming to you. Understand that you are a vessel of peace, bringing about peace in the lives of those that you come in contact with. So you speak words of peace and tranquility and love. And as you speak peace, love, and tranquility, you will not only begin to speak it, you will begin to live it. And people will see that your lifestyle mirrors your words. Some of us are going through trials and tribulation, and we're being persecuted for the sake of the gospel. We're told, divinely attuned and consciously ripe in this present moment are those who feel dislocated, shut out, abandoned because of their virtue, their goodness, their decency. Theirs is the blissful, empowering presence of the feminine essence of life itself. You experience the more abundant life when you're experiencing that you're dislocated, shut out, abandoned by yourself alone because you were persecuted for the sake of the one that we call the Christ. You chose to live out the Christ life, and others saw that Christ life, and they were repelled by it because they chose to live contrary. Ancient text says that you're abundantly blessed and that all life has been given to you, and you shall prosper because you've chosen the higher life. So be not discouraged because your abundance is already present and being manifested, overflowing, pressed down, shaken together. Creators, there's so much more that I can say concerning the Beatitudes. But what I want you to understand most of all, when you're operating from your true self, creation is certain. You just need to understand that your creation is certain and decide what it is that you desire to create. Because we're always creating. But the question is, what are we creating? Understand that you are one with the divine essence of the universe. And because you are one, all things belong to you. But you have to be in the right state to receive them. So if you're not walking in love in your daily life, then you're repelling the thing that you desire to attract. Become conduits of God's love in the world, and the very thing that you seek will be drawn to you. Remember this, that only you can create your perfect world, not God, nor man. Only you can create your perfect world. Have a blessed and prosperous week.